Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's a brand spanking new article from the Daily Hodl. Ripple says Microsoft, BitGo, and Bitso powering XRP Ledger updates total cryptocurrency holdings. So they got a couple topics in this video, both worth running through here. I also want to share with you this, because look, I talk on this channel, and look, I'm not an XRP maximalist, even if any of you think that. I don't know if anybody's ever even claimed that, but just in case anybody's even thinking that's the case, it's not so. I just like to engage in thoughtful discourse, and so when I say things that are critical of Bitcoin, just know that it's coming from a loving place. I got a big heart, and it's not like medically enlarged in a dangerous way. It's just, you know, I'm caring. That's all I'm saying right there. And so take a look at this headline, though. This is from CoinDesk. Bitcoin's Lightning Network is growing increasingly centralized, researchers find. And so, of course, that headline certainly caught my attention. And it's not that there's something where I'm just ideologically opposed to anything that's not XRP. I'm just about utility. And, you know, this layer 2 technology, the Lightning Network, that's supposed to make Bitcoin be capable of functioning in place of fiat currency, as a real currency that's completely decentralized. As I've been saying, do any of you remember me saying this? I've said it like umpteen bazillion times, maybe 11 billion times perhaps I've said it, is that the Lightning Network is a centralized solution requiring pre-funding of accounts. And Bitcoin itself, though, you know, it is decentralized. But anyway, I'll hold on. I'll get into the rest of it a little bit later in the video. Before I go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a super cool kid, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because that's the only way to prove it to me. All right, let's go ahead and jump in now. Into the first piece. Ripple has updated key stats on the amount of XRP it holds, as well as which companies are helping to power the network. As of February 9th, 2020, the San Francisco Payments Company says it has 49 billion, I'm just rounding it, XRP worth about $13.8 billion left in its cryptographically secured escrow accounts. The company placed 55 billion XRP in escrow back in late 2017, executing a monthly schedule that releases 1 billion XRP and makes the funds available for the company to sell. Ripple says the escrow process is designed to give investors a way to track the company's XRP holdings, which just goes back to the concept that Ripple, unquestionably, undeniably, is the most transparent company in the entire blockchain industry. There isn't even a close second. But here's a quote. Since 2012, Ripple has methodically sold XRP and used it to incentivize market maker activity to increase XRP liquidity and strengthen the overall health of XRP markets. By securing the lion's share of XRP, people can mathematically verify the maximum supply of XRP that can enter the market. Exactly, the responsible adult thing to do. Now, obviously, if you're a reasonable person, you know that there was no way that Ripple was going to dump all their XRP even prior to the escrow existing, because they're the largest stakeholder. They have the most to lose if XRP value. You know, the XRP price goes down. That would not be good for them. So logic would dictate they wouldn't do that anyway. But since it was a quote-unquote controversial issue, yes, they locked it up, and super duper bully for them. Okay. Now, in the fourth quarter of 2019, the company says it sold a total of $13.8 million in XRP to institutions over the counter, while selling 0 XRP on crypto exchanges. And indeed, that's because Ripple has not ever, and probably, I can't imagine, they will, I'll just say, they're not ever going to sell to retailers. They sell to, well, certainly market makers. Think cryptocurrency exchanges, institutional purchases, buyers, over-the-counter transactions is what we're talking about here. They have never sold to a retail investor. All right. Now, meanwhile, check it out. So here's the other part of the topic in this piece here. Meanwhile, Ripple says Microsoft remains the most high-profile XRP ledger validator processing transactions on the network. The U.S.-based digital asset trust company BitGo and Mexico-based crypto exchange Bitso are two of the newest enterprises contributing to the network. CGI, Berkeley Haas, Telendus, University of Tokyo, GateHub, WorldLink, Bahnhof, and Flagship are also running validators, according to Ripple. And there are more than that. And so here's where they were getting that. This is Ripple's actual website, ripple.com/XRP/market performance. Well, market dash performance here. And I was happy to see when I clicked on this that the XRP price is displaying properly today. It doesn't always do that. There have been a couple times within the last couple of, 2 or 3 months or so, when people have been like, what the hell is up with the XRP price? When it was around 20 cents and it was displaying at like 45 cents. But they got it under control today. The website's having a good go right now. But if you scroll down, here's where they were getting this from. They have this little heading here titled Decentralization, and they write, XRP continues to diversify the validator ecosystem to further increase resiliency and meet growing customer demands. And they list some here, the first one being Microsoft. And I don't blame them for putting Microsoft first. That's a pretty household name, I think it's safe to say, right? Now, Ripple powers 17.1% of the ledgers, top-tier validators. In the long run, the company says it plans to detach itself from the process of deciding which entities are the most trusted on the network. And so there you go. Ripple is just ensuring that the XRP ledger, doing everything they can to make sure that it becomes increasingly decentralized, while Bitcoin, to the contrary, although it is decentralized, is becoming more centralized just by the nature of mining pools, most certainly here. And it's going to continue to head that direction for both of them, unless something fundamentally changes that we just have not foreseen yet. So before I hop into the next piece, I did want to share one tweet that was kind of funny. I just came across this. This is from somebody named Spiro, who wrote, and there's just people, if you're not driving, don't worry about it, I'll just explain it to you, but there's these people just doing their gosh darndest in this video clip to get into a train. There's just like hordes of people here. I don't know if they're trying to escape something. Perhaps they're trying to escape a wild XRP bull. I don't know. That would be my best guess. But he wrote this: when everyone realizes the XRP train is about to take off, it'll be too late. Truer words have never been spoken. And there you go. Now that looks dangerous. I'm hoping nobody actually got hurt, because that train was moving as people were jumping in. I'm just saying here. All right, on to the next piece here. Bitcoin's Lightning Network is growing increasingly centralized. Researchers find. I have been saying this for like the entirety of the Moon Lambo channel, which debuted, first video ever, December 14th of 2018. I'm staying on point here. You know, that's why it's like, to me, this is just, the headline when I read it was like, it's a little bit of validation, but so many people out there that are ideologically so entwined, like they're part of who they are is ingrained in this whole Bitcoin thing, specifically Bitcoin, not just crypto, but Bitcoin. They're not, they're going to stick their head in the sand and just kind of deny reality. But this is the truth of it. And I've talked about this before, but Bitcoin's Lightning Network is growing increasingly centralized, making it more susceptible to attacks, asserts a new paper by security researchers. Now, of course, you know this must have been written by those XRP guys out there, right? Just to create a false narrative, right? Well, of course not, but that's the type of stuff you hear about, Bitcoin maxis, they write all sorts of fun about XRP. But I'll tell you what, Bitcoin, just letting the truth out, that's enough. You don't need to create a false narrative around Bitcoin for it to not look so rosy. All you have to do is say the truth. I'm just saying. Now, seen as a potential solution to Bitcoin's scaling headaches, Lightning is a payment network allowing for speedier and cheaper transactions. Partly to make Lightning more robust, developers and researchers have been trying to spot holes in the network. Released earlier this month, the paper Lightning Network, A Second Path Towards Centralization of the Bitcoin Economy, and then the name of the researchers there, it concludes that Lightning has a, quote, unequal wealth distribution with a smaller percentage of nodes on the network gradually accumulating a larger proportion of Bitcoin. Specifically, the researchers found that 10% of the nodes control 80% of funds on the network. The situation, they caution, creates room for disruption. If most of the Bitcoin is held mostly on a few nodes, this could make the network more vulnerable to attacks because removing these routing nodes would leave gaping holes. Removing hubs leads to the collapse of the network into many components, suggesting that this network may be a target for the so-called split attack, potentially leading to Lightning being divided in half. To be sure, engineer Christian Decker, a Lightning engineer at Bitcoin tech startup Blockstream and one of the paper's authors, said he is not worried about the state of affairs lasting. This trend towards centralization is likely temporary. Right, he tweeted. He and other Lightning developers are working to make it easier for operators to build redundancies into their network. However, by nature, the setup that this is, because you're talking about payment rails on a layer 2 technology, by nature, it's not something that's encrypted in the same way that cryptocurrencies are. It's a centralized solution that can easily be attacked. This particular layer 2 technology, unless they change it, they're going to have some more problems here. And I have covered this thoroughly in previous videos, which I'm not going to be outside the scope of this video. This is not the only reason that you could call Lightning Network centralized. It's also nowhere near the only fundamental problems with how it procedurally operates. So am I bullish on Lightning Network? No. Now, am I against a cryptocurrency finding a place in the world, that a cryptocurrency that's not XRP, finding a place in the world that in such a way that actually gets used as money, as real money one day, in place of fiat currency? Am I against that? No, that'd be fine. And if it's not XRP, I'll still say super duper 2 thumbs up. That's fine. All I'm pointing out is that Bitcoin is incapable of doing it on layer 1 and on layer 2. Now, if they can magically fix this, fine, and make it Lightning Network working, fine, but it will always be solution and centralized rather, and it just seems completely antithetical to the concept of Bitcoin at its core when it was originally envisioned as a peer-to-peer cash system, as that's what Satoshi Nakamoto called it, way back in the day over 10 years ago. So, not that I don't want it to happen, but calling out legitimate concerns about this technology is different than just being a maximalist that doesn't want other projects to succeed. I would love for all sorts of projects to succeed. But anyway, tell me what you think below. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!